r/AskReddit by Reddit and chill. Serious, straight people of Reddit. When did you know you weren't gay? When I was super young I used to take, and sometimes hide, my mom's Victoria's Secret catalogs. I remember an intense feeling while looking at the models and lingerie. It wasn't a horny feeling, being so young, but it was exciting, fun, and it had a magnetic feeling inside me to look at them. Since I didn't even know what sex is, I figured that feeling was what marriage was. LMFAO, so I'd be flipping pages and I'd be like, I would marry her. Wow, I really want to marry her, and marry her. I wouldn't marry this one. I love these type of questions that bring back things you never think about. Looking back at this foggy memory, I can actually remember the specific perfumey smell the magazines had. That is lovely. I hope you marry the lingerie model of your dreams, and are very happy together. There's a picture on a food delivery semi-truck at my work of this Asian chef girl, and I think I'm in love with her at the moment. Edit. Here's the chef lady. Far right. When I first learned about the concept of being gay, I think I was like 8-9. I randomly asked my mom, how do you know if you're gay? And she said you would just have a feeling and you know. I thought about if I've ever felt gay and I didn't. So that was that. That's a very healthy answer to that question. If I had asked my mom that, the answer would have been something like, you'll know because you won't feel God's presence in your life or some such. Holy shit, all this time I've been gay and didn't even know it. I got sad as a middle schooler getting harshly rejected by a crush and realized all my guy friends are amazing people to me. So I figured, could I imagine dating them? Couldn't get it up in the slightest. So I quit. I'm pretty sure I'm not gay, but Neil Patrick Harris hasn't asked me out, so that's an exception. I was joking around with one of my friends and my friends and I, asked him how he knew he wasn't gay. He told us he tried it 3 times and still hated it. He told us the long story about how he gave 3 dudes blowjobs and then realized he hated it. So many laughs. I just kept sucking dong but nothing was happening. Well, you know, boobies. Exactly this. I realized I am a straight male when I couldn't stop myself from looking at tits at the beach. Of course I would also look at jacked dudes and think, wow, I want to look like this in the future, but opposed to boobs, I would do that consciously. Looking at boobs felt more like an instinct I couldn't control all that much back at age 12. I hate myself for it, but same. I thought I was bi for a while. But before Corona I was studying abroad in Spain, and this French girl who was openly bi and super pretty was very obviously into me, and when we would go to clubs she was all over me and I realized I wasn't into it. It was fun for what it was, dancing and drinking, but I could tell she wanted to take it further and I did not. I also thought I might be bi. Flash forward to eating out the hottest chick I'd ever seen and was like, nah, this ain't it. Hell of a time to realize you're actually straight. ETA. Oh. Whoa, my first gold. Good to know something good came of this experience, because I sure didn't. Haha, thank you. You/bullet14. I had the opposite. It'd been struggling with whether I was bi or lesbian, and I managed to work it out while sucking some guy's dong and thinking, damn, I actually don't like this. When a girl strokes my back or plays with my hair, it's very relaxing. I'm like a cat. I am so happy and comfortable and I'll go to sleep. If a guy strokes me or plays with my hair, I'm tense but in a good way and really excited and flustered, and I want to touch him all over. Reading the first half, I thought you were a dude. Took me a minute, lol, I thought you answered the opposite's question. Holy shit, I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I watched gay porn, and I can safely say it wasn't for me. For me it was that scene from X-Men Origins Wolverine where Hugh Jackman runs naked through a field. I looked at his man butt and thought, oh no, that's definitely not for me. I know the exact scene you're talking about and I feel exactly the same way. Man butt is a no for me. I was raised in a being gay as a choice type of house. My mom was giving me a speech about how she didn't care if I brought home a black girl, a Chinese girl, whatever, just as long I dated a girl. Basically an anti-gay talk. I was confused about this and thought to myself, why would I date a guy? I'm attracted to girls. Dating a guy sounds nasty. If I had to date a guy, who would I date? Best friend? You. No. Preppy guy? You. No. What's his name that is out as gay? You. No. There's no guy I can even think of that I'd want to be romantically involved with. And even if there was, I'd really have to force myself to do so. Holy shit. Being gay isn't a choice. Edit. Typos. This is actually a really interesting way to realize that concept. I might use this story to teach this lesson to people in the future, if that's okay. Sure, if it helps people to understand that being gay isn't a choice, then absolutely. When I started checking out girls in high school, but it would only go as far as thinking they're pretty, no desire to date one. I went to an all-girls school, but I was always thinking about boys. I'm not opposed to trying things with girls if the opportunity came up, but I've only ever been sexually attracted to guys or wanting a relationship with one. I do this. I'll see a girl and think she's really pretty and attractive. This physical attraction makes me feel like I would want to have a sexual relationship with a girl, but not a romantic one. It's confusing. I'm a straight girl, I think, and I don't know what to call this feeling. Perhaps romantically you are straight, but sexually you are bi, or be curious. I'm a female and I know that so far it is emotionally impossible for me to fall in love with a girl. I could have sex with a girl but definitely would not be interested in pursuing dating a girl because there isn't that spark desire I have with men. I've questioned my sexuality before just to be sure, lol. But I know that the romantic bond I have with men is not possible for me to have with women. I could duck a girl but definitely would not be down to date or even flirt with a girl. It would feel very forced and uncomfortable for me. What is this called? I feel the same way. I feel like a sexual attraction to women as a woman, but I don't feel an emotional or romantic connection, so I would never consider a relationship. I've only ever dated men and dating a girl would be weird to me, but sexual things would feel normal. You're bisexual, heteromantic, I think are the terms you're looking for. You just have the regular terms you already know and then you can mix them to better fit your experience as a person. Honestly, though I had been reading classic romance novels for a couple years, nothing solidified me being straight more than someone in high school starting the rumor I was gay and it taking over the entire school for 4 years. So much so I had gym teachers pull me aside to ask if I needed to dress alone so I wouldn't lust after the other girls. It was then I discovered that not only was I not gay, but even the idea of sexually touching a girl is a complete turn off for me. I'm not a touchy person to begin with, but the mere thought of even having a threesome with another woman involved is like a cold bucket of ice water to my libido. Those teachers sound real unprofessional and inappropriate. Wow, that is so insane that a teacher felt it was okay to do that. I have a funny story, kind of related. One time in junior high I was in the locker room talking to my friend while we were getting dressed for pay, and this other girl behind us kept loudly talking about OMG what if there was a lesbian in here watching us all get changed, and going on and on about how she would be so uncomfortable if there was a lesbian in our locker room and how they would be staring at her. I finally had enough of listening to her and whipped my head around and loudly said, "Who says she would want to be staring at you?" She was real quiet after that, lol. I was 11 and I fell in love with Joe Jonas. Joe Jonas is definitely the prettiest Jonas brother. I used to watch the scene of him swimming in Camp Rock over and over again. Ah yes, I know the scene well. For a while I kind of wondered if I was bisexual, because I can appreciate when a woman looks good, and for a while I was kind of drawn to pictures of naked women. Then I realized that the thought of hooking up with a woman really wasn't a turn on to me. But the thought of hooking up with a guy, well, elicits a little different response in my body. Turns out I was drawn to images of naked women out of curiosity and for comparing my body to theirs. This is interesting because I'm superficially and sexually attracted to men and women, but each elicits a different sexual response in me, and I'm attracted to guys for completely different reasons than I'm attracted to women. I just don't get aroused by looking at men. But I do get aroused by looking at women. Quite literally, an image of a woman gives me energy. If they ran a psych experiment and had me stare at images of either gender until I fall asleep, I would fall asleep faster to a picture of a man. Bah, me too. I'm a B woman and I get turned on by anything and everything about women. Completely uncontrollably. With men I have to either really like their face or personality. All women are beautiful and sexy to me. Edit. Completely uncontrollably sounds like I can't control my behavior, but I actually meant that it's something I don't have to think about. A completely natural reflex from my eyes to brain to body to tell me I like what I see. When my rate of I think, insert girl, is pretty attractive got to a certain frequency in high school, I thought about it critically. It was pretty easy once I realized that the thought of touching another woman sexually legit makes me uncomfortable and not in an avoiding repressing way, which I also considered. I still get some looks from peers when I make those comments. Always have. I'm positive 1 or 2 female classmates have thought I was lying about my straightness to make them comfortable or something, which, first of all, get ducked, and second of all, don't flatter yourself. But it's not my fault they're uncomfortable with my bluntness. It's just how I've always been. I'm currently crazy over the female baton twirler for my college's marching band, and I refuse to be ashamed of that. She did a routine freshman year in a Santa's helper outfit and her baton was on fire. I'm still a little in love. Hey, do you? Not your fault if they've never heard of a girl complimenting other girls' looks. But also, first of all, get ducked. Best part of the comment. I'm similar in a way. Have tried to picture the specifics of having sex with female celebrities and it's always pretty much nope. Doesn't do it for me. Whereas it's yes, please, with the male ones. Even some of the less conventionally attractive ones. My dad owned a body shop when I was little. Typical 90s shop, dirty posters of nude women all over the place. There was one in particular that even to this day I can remember 25 years later. The taste I have for women now and what I had in high school remains the same. That poster I seen when I was 7 let me know that I liked women. That's funny, my dad had his the same. I ended up finding the drawer that the mags were in and was happy whenever my dad asked me to get a tool for him. He eventually found out that I found his stash when it started taking me longer and longer to get his tools. Then he told me that he was surprised I hadn't into the stand-up cabinet. Open up the cabinet and there were calendars upon calendars of boobs. A clock of 2 women boob to boob on a motorcycle. It was insane. Even today when I go to his shop, I'll go into that cabinet and just laugh at how old the photos are and how trashy the girls look. Katy Perry did it so I kissed a girl and felt nothing. Might as well have been giving a handshake. My girls and I would still kiss each other, mostly for free drinks or getting cover waved by the bouncer, but I had no desire to go forward with it. Katy Perry did it so I kissed a girl is probably the reason a lot of women realized they weren't gay. Haha, good answer. I'm a gay dude, but totally get what you mean. Kissing a woman doesn't feel disgusting or anything. It just feels like kissing a wall or something. Not awful, but I don't feel any pleasure. Men, I've come to realize sexuality labels are stupid. I mean, sure, I remember being taken to beaches on the Costa del Sol as a kid and perving over topless women. I've only ever had sex with women. I've only ever really been attracted to women. Then bam, you find out Henry Cavill exists and it throws the whole thing into disrepute. Are you sure Henry Cavill isn't like Ryan Reynolds? You know, where the straighter a guy is, the more attracted the guy is to Ryan. Sometimes known as the Michael Fassbender paradox. When I was super young and playing Sonic games on Sega Genesis, I used to think Tails was female and I would have dreams about living inside her vagina. Obviously I had no idea what this meant, nor did I realize Tails was a dude. After that I remember dreaming about WWF female superstars a lot. I love your honesty. I watched Space Jam in like 2nd grade and thought Lola Bunny was hot or something. Then I started to compare her to girls and was basically checking girls out. I read that and that's pretty weird, but what ifs. Bro, Lola Bunny in Space Jam was, I'm sure, a lot of 90s kids' sexual awakening. Lola Bunny was stacked in Space Jam. Eventually you end up seeing another guy's dong, whether it's by accident, in porn, etc. And I realized that the only dong in the world I thought looked good was mine. There's a show that broadcasts here called Naked Attraction. It's a little bit like that old blind date show, however the contestant gradually sees more of the bachelor/bachelorette's naked bodies. And it pretty much solidified that there's not a single penis in this world I think looks as good as mine. God, I hope this post doesn't come up in a background check. Oddly relevant given the recent FF7 remake, but my answer is Tiffle Lockett. FF7 came out when I was 13. When I was 15 years old, I was drinking with 2 friends of mine. The girl was good, and back in those times I didn't get too much kitten. So she said to me that if I kiss my friend, boy, she will kiss me back. I did it and I didn't like the feeling of the kiss with the boy, so I'm straight. The kiss with the girl was worth it. I've watched gay porn. Couldn't keep it up. I've looked at guys in real life and thought about them sexually, and there was less of a response than porn. Might like lil shaved twinks, but as is, I seem pretty straight. I'm not against the idea. Stimulation is stimulation. But I just don't have the biological desire, or else I'd probably be BF. When other girls were making out with each other at a party for fun, and I tried it, something clicked in my brain that went, nah, this isn't it. Massive love to my LGBT plus people though. I will always have your backs. Equals. This was actually a really legitimate question for me. I guess I'm fairly far along the ace spectrum because I didn't ever experience having so much as a crush on anyone until I was 19. That person was a guy, but a sample size of one wasn't really enough to tell me if I was straight or bi or anything. At that point a friend asked me about my sexuality and I had to sit down and think about it. I came to the conclusion that although I had many great female friends, my feelings of love towards them were definitely platonic love, and I couldn't imagine any of them spilling over into romantic. I can appreciate a graceful figure on a girl, as a seamstress you sometimes notice, but I don't have any desire to be with a woman. As far as I remember, I've always felt a man's body to be one of the most repulsive things in the universe. I can shake hands, but otherwise never touch one. I guess masturbating is out of the question then. Your mum does that for me, yes. I suppose I could be classified as either straight or bisexual, as I do find women's bodies to be very attractive, but from a very young age, I always developed strong feelings for boys men. I never had a crush on a girl in the same way, even when I admired them or thought they were sexy. I never imagined or wanted my future long-term partner to be female. So I guess it's like I knew I wasn't a lesbian when I had crushes on little boys as a little girl. But even when sexual attraction toward women started creeping up, it was not the same as the intense passion I felt for the men I really wanted to be with. I don't know. I just never saw guys as a potential partner. Why would I want hairy legs and a mustache and that basic behavior guys have in my life? Also, the thought of sucking dong and ducking with another guy? Gross. Giving head to a girl on the other hand? Tasty. As a teenager, when everyone's hormones were to the maximum, my group of friends were oogling and jawing crazy over some girl. So much so that they couldn't stand up. I was like, yeah, she's nice, but didn't have any effect. Seeing their response and lack of my response led me down a train of thought that snowballed into thinking I might be gay. So I tried it out, and nope, I'm not gay. Turns out, I'm asexual. D. When I was 8 yo, I saw Pam Anderson in Baywatch. I never had to question it. Never have I ever been interested in a dude. Male. And I've seen men hardly clothed all my life. As an action hero fan, never did anything for me, other than loving all the awesome fights and feats of strength. But seeing all the girls with their skin tight bodysuits, who a boy. So my answer is always, I've always known. When I got a chance to try stuff with attractive girl, but I only felt an urge to kiss, cuddle, not do the sex. The draw me like one of your French girls seen in Titanic. I was 7. I was even younger than that, maybe 5, watching it with my mom on VHS. When that scene came on, she told me to cover my eyes. I of course peeked, and it was like reaching enlightenment. That VHS made me a man. I've always been so attracted to girls and think they're beautiful, and TBH can be hotter than guys many times, but I shudder at the thought of being with one myself. I could never connect with a female on that level, only males. Wherever music video came out when I was in middle school, nuff said. Sorry, I'm not good speaking English, still learning. When I was 5 years old, I started having mental issues about my sexuality, like very strong. In the kindergarten, one of my best friends used to play with me a game named Besitus, which is following each other and kiss the other everywhere and repeat, now being followed by him until he kisses me, and when he kisses me, follow him until I kiss him. I told that to my family and they said that's so gay. Don't play this game again. Don't play with him again. And at this moment of my life, I didn't know what's being gay. When I was a little bit older, like 7 years old, I searched in Google the definition of gay, and I felt identified. Despite I thought that was a derogatory word. At that point of my life, I started to like boys. But in 7th grade, first of middle school in my country, I met a girl that changed my entire life. Because I loved a girl with that feeling that no one could make me feel before. But, she said no. That made me reconsider my sexuality, and I thought I was bisexual. I still liking boys, but girls made me feel better. I met a girl when I was 14, and we became like best friends. And since she knows me, knows about my sexuality, I started loving her so much. When I was 15, I told her how much I love her, and she told me that she feels the same as me, but was insecure of telling me due my sexuality. Now I still with her, and we're about to have our 3rd anniversary on the 15th of April. I used to joke with her, since I met you, I'm not gay, I'm not bisexual, or straight, I'm vanisexual. Because I don't think I would love someone the way I do with you. Vanessa is her name. That's why vanisexual. Thank you for reading my story. The day I saw Marianne on Gilligan's Island. Edit. Word. Sometime in year 7 or 8 I got curious, so I went to Pornhub to find out. Watched a part of a gay porn and instantly knew that dong is not my deal. Boomer here. Goddamn, you don't know how lucky you are. Can you imagine the only porn you get to see at 7 or 8 is the Sears catalog bra section? Was rather confused for a bit myself until I watched V for Vendetta with Natalie Portman. Some buddies told me if I didn't think she was hot, then I could be sure I wasn't straight. Well, it took a while, but near the end I realized I was straight. This was also when I discovered why I do not find most women attractive. I'm confused about the last part of this. Very high standards, LMAO. I hope you find your perfect woman someday. I dress kinda boyish and always have. When I was younger my mom asked me if I liked girls and I was hella confused. BC I didn't understand why. I think BC she asked me that, and BC everyone thought I was gay. BC of how I dress that maybe I am. Turns out that I dress like this. BC I am insecure, and the whole you act like a boy thing has only made it worse. I don't wear dresses, not BC I hate them, but BC I feel like I won't look like girl when I wear it. Long story short, I am actually upset that I have kinda masculine features. BC what guy would want to date a girl that looks like a boy? The whole fact that I am worried about how guys feel about me let me know that I am in fact straight despite what anyone thinks of me. Ducking like and subscribe.